Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining me for today's Thursday's World session. I can't believe we're already mid-December, so December 9th. I glitched there for a minute. Yes, we are December 9th, and I'm going to go hop right into the session. So if you want to take a nice deep breath and get yourself comfortable and relaxed, I think the first thing that to notice is how supported you are fully in your life, even if you don't think that you're being supported. And it's interesting that my attention is going here. When you sit down, I know for myself, I hardly give two thoughts to the chair that's supporting my body, and I'm just trusting the chair to hold me and not give out. Take a deep breath. There's so much panic on that. There's so much panic on that. Mm. Trusting life to carry you through your life, just trusting your life to carry you through whatever state you're in, whether it be aches and pains in your body, could be emotional discomfort or hardship, that even though there's hard times or good times or whatever, that life is actually carrying, that there's a supporting nature to life. It's supportive to trust life's process. You don't even think second twice about the chair or the floor. There's a certain trust that goes into it. Yet when it comes to listening to our bodies or trusting our intuition or that body knows, that discernment comes from the gut. For example, food is coming up. So trusting what to eat, you put it close to your mouth or you bring it up to your nose to smell it, and there's an aversion. To trust that aversion, even if the food looks good or it hasn't spoiled, but it's just not good for your body in this time. But then in comes the mind and overrides that inner wisdom, that, I don't know, that knowing, that intuition, that discernment from the gut. The mind overrides that and says, oh, well, you should just go ahead and eat that anyway. And then at night you're suffering and the body's having a hard time digesting. So it's the same thing when it comes to relationships. That's interesting that this is coming up. Oh, there's nothing really wrong with that person, but you get a sense of ickiness around them, or you feel stressed or exhausted or energetically drained from being around them. And then the mind comes in and tells you all of these platitudes of why you should still be engaging in this relationship, even though there's an aversion, that there's a deep sense, not the mental stuff, but that, no, that doesn't feel good to me. That doesn't feel right. Whew. So there's a lot of thought going on, and I'm just seeing it clouding the Wei Chi. So we've got to kind of, oh, we're already burping. There's a lot of static and dust particles on the Wei Qi, and it's bunking up the capacity. The Wei Qi is your natural subtle protector. And it feels really sticky. There feels like some electrical current, so it's being bombarded with EMFs. So we're going to go ahead and do EMFs to EMF radiation, so microwave radiation, EMFs, cell phone towers, cell phones, electronics. Wow, even though the fridge and the stove or home phones, they don't really emit very much. It's the way she feels really tired, and so it's impacting us. So we're going to balance out. We're going to do a Vivaxis as well, to environmental Vivaxis, including the fridges and appliances. So we're going to balance that off of the Wei Qi, and then how much concrete we have around us living in the city. Oh, it really always surprises me when um, people don't know that they are nature. It just surprises me. Like, oh, the animals are a part of nature, the trees are nature, but you don't ever consider yourself as being a part of nature. We are one on this planet. It's just one. And it feels there, I can sense this separateness, like these columns. And I was like, oh, this is what it is. And this is mine categorizing, right? So, okay, well, the squirrels and the bunnies, their nature, they're wild animals, their nature. And same thing with foxes and other bears and the animals of the savannah. Well, that's just nature. And then trees and flowers and herbs, that's nature. And there's such a disconnect because you go into the grocery store and you have no idea where your food came from. It's like you're not in the fields anymore, being connected to the experience of the food. That's really big. And this is also in that EMF, that this complete disconnect. We've got all these concrete, the urban worlds, like we live in cities, and that's just the way it is now. It's not to say that it's bad or it's good, but it is impacting, especially when the mind comes in and disconnects each individual from that they are nature. Ugh. Oh, that's really big. And then there's this huge grief. I'm just feeling so grief stricken. Just completely, it's like the mind has taken over, a thought has taken over, rules have taken over, to-do lists have taken over, responsibilities, or what you think responsibility has taken over, tasks have taken over, and they're all bunging up your Wei Chi's natural ability to protect and not defend, because there's a really big difference between defensiveness and protection. So we're going to do a few things. So this is Wei Qi head to toe, from the top of the, even going up into the subtle bodies, ooh, down to the base of your feet, down about an inch or so, or 2 inches from the sole of the foot. We're doing a mass cleansing of the Wei Qi, and we're doing a dumping of a consciousness of that separation, like I am separate from nature. And we're going to link that into individuation. So linking it to the heart to dump all of those thoughts and ideas and bring you back into that midline, bring you back into that connectedness, that stillness. Oh. All right, take a nice deep breath. I'm getting really dizzy doing that. So we're gonna go ahead and do a repair to the Wei Qi now. So there's some holes and cracks. I'm seeing some tears. I'm seeing some invasions, some like dips, like big black holes. So I'm gonna go quiet to do this work. So you can just feel around your body for yourself where it feels weak. And that could be possibly your Wei Qi being tired, being worn down. I can feel it around here, the prefrontal cortex. I'm feeling some in the back. I can feel around the adrenal and the kidneys are tired. And you can feel for yourself. The soles of the feet as well are coming up. I'll take a nice deep breath. I'm going in and repairing this. And it's asking for gold. So and the Japanese have this beautiful, beautiful thing in their culture where when a glass cracks, or something made of ceramic breaks, like a bowl or a chip off a dish, they don't throw it out. They fill it with gold. And it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful symbolism. Oh, there's my warming of my gut. You don't need to be perfect. There is perfect in your own imperfection. So filling in those gaps and within the Wei Qi, filling them in with gold. It's like little gold flecks, gold dust. And then the Wei Qi is able to go ahead and repair. And I'm going to go ahead and Cover from head to toe, surround that Wei Qi with Reiki. Ah, that feels so much better. Oof, there was a really big release on that one. So running this repair, this is going to run on its own, the Wei Qi repair, the dumping of the consciousness of being separate of nature when you yourself are nature. And the gold dust and then the Reiki, that's going to run for, it's going to run for 24 hours. Going to link it to your everyone's prefrontal cortex. So that's just going to run as a cursive interactive. All right, take a nice deep breath and tap that in. You don't have to tap it in. I'm doing the tapping for you. You can just sit back and receive. I'm going right, being shot right into that diaphragm, right around the stomach, around that, I don't know, I want to call it a digestive belt for some reason, but where the diaphragm hugs the liver and the gallbladder and the pancreas and the spleen, even a little bit going down into the small intestines, into the duodenum. I'm really focusing in around those that stream of digestion where the stomach breaks down the food. The liver and gallbladder do really important jobs of filtering and creating bile, so the bile juices move. The pancreas takes care of the sugar. And then the spleen takes out the garbage, takes out the waste, and it goes through this whole digestive process. And I'm just seeing the like everyone with their mouth wide open. And like a baby does, just stuffing food into their mouth, but this in a really greedy way. So coming back to where I was mentioning food as being disconnected most, I'm not saying all, but most are disconnected from their food. There's no connection to it. We don't have that so much anymore. I'm feeling such sadness and grief. Oof, I didn't think I would. Oof, that's really taken me by surprise. So I'm just going to let the tears come. Just saying, being disconnected from food, from the food source, where we get our food. Get our food from the grocery store. We don't tend to the garden so much. We don't harvest our own vegetables. Maybe some do. Obviously, there's farmers and we have food, but I'm talking about the mass public, or like the general public. Maybe have your little garden and your cucumber. Okay, fine, but that's not what we're speaking of here. We're going into a grocery store, seeing all of this food and seeing all of this abundance, being there with mouths wide open and being completely disconnected from the work that went into harvesting, growing this food, even down to the truck drivers who deliver the food, the way the food is handled. Oof. And it's very adharmic. There's this, it's almost like a disrespect, especially when I'm coming in and I'm just feeling that sadness from the animals, where we're a part of nature, but the animals and the food is being handled so disrespectfully. It's so difficult for our digestive system, since we're, have our subtle bodies, to be eating that consciousness is really heavy. So eating that consciousness of, the pigs and the chickens and the cows being mistreated, and that shock gets stuck within their bones and their muscular system, and then they're processed, and it's just like a factory, and then there we are, completely unconscious, walking into the grocery stores and doing our life, and they're just consuming more and more and more, and then we say, well, there's lack. We say that there's lack and there's nothing, but there's so much. Oh, this is really, I am really surprised. Oof, guys, what are you showing me? There's such a disconnection. And so there's this big piece of adharmic living, not even having a clue, having no clue, being clueless. And then saying, well, the mind takes over and says, well, I should be able to eat this. I don't know why. This food is good. It hasn't spoiled. And then you go to put it in your mouth. But those subtle senses are picking up the mistreatment of food and animals. And then you consume it. And then obviously your body has a hard time digesting that. It's having a hard time digesting the adharmic treatment of food. Oh my God. And then we say, there's something wrong with my body. There's something wrong with my system. Oh, we've got to balance that out. Oof. So I'm going to do Ho'oponopono for that. If you all want to do it with me, you can go ahead. And I'm going to just say, I'm going to say the prayer. We're going to burn this. And we'll see how this switches the digestion. It's heavy on the liver, it's heavy on the gallbladder and the pancreas and the spleen. And then I could see poor discernment of the small intestines going, I'm doing my job. I'm saying it doesn't taste good. I'm saying, no, I'm rejecting it. I'm rejecting it. But in comes the mind and pushes that natural discernment out of the way. And then like those big, I'm just seeing it like those cartoons, big mouths, just stuffing everything into their mouth. And then saying that there's lack. Well, if this is a really powerful piece. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm just gonna Om. You can hold wherever your hand goes on your body. Mine is going to my gut. I'm just gonna go ahead and Om. You can Om with me. We're gonna shake that up. There it goes. All right, I'm going to tap this in. Being flung right into the adrenal kidney complex. And the adrenals and the kidneys feel tired. And they need some support. So I'm going to go ahead and do a bilateral Seedri to the kidneys. Oof, I'm getting really hot. Oof, I'm getting really hot. So a Seedri fragments and defragments and recontextualizes and integrates and synthesizes. So if you want to think about it as a computer, it's a complete, whoa, that was really big. It fragments and it defragments and it goes through the junk and it throws it out and it reintegrates it. And we're going to run a Seedri to the kidneys bilaterally. Whew, and then go ahead and we're going to support the tubes that go down. So the ureters go down into the urethra, into the bladders and the bladder, and then the bladder it goes out to the ureter, and then the urine goes out. So we're doing a support there. It feels we're going to through body chemistry. So if you want to go ahead with your fingers are clean, we're going to do a general body chemistry to the base of the kidney where the urine collects and then pools out into the bilateral ureters. It feels a little acidic in there. So we want to bring that acidity down, bring it into your body's natural alkalinity so that it's not acidic. It feels very abrasive, and it's also feels like it's growing mold in there. So there's a buildup of it feels like fungi or mold from past infections that is trying to pass through. It's not so much in the kidneys or in the bladder if you suffer from bladder infections or kidney infections, but it's getting stuck in the tubulature. So we're going to do a few things. We're going to run a body chemistry to those bilateral tubes and then flush it out with like forcefully. This may be a little uncomfortable. We don't want the water just to trickle. We really want to, like running a faucet nice and strong when you flush out the pipes. There's relief. So we're going to flush out those pipes, and that water moving quickly down the ureters, causing friction, is going to negatively charge the water. And then also that friction is going to create your hydrogen peroxide, because your body can make its own hydrogen peroxide to disinfect. Oh, that feels so much better. That feels really nice and fluid now. And there's also thoughts in there. There's guilt and shame in there. And moving it into the bladder, we want to make sure that it doesn't pool and start collecting and growing in the bladder. So I'm going to run also a body chemistry, general body chemistry to the bladder on a repeat with a hydration and a circulation plug into the bladder, so this can be flushed out completely. Also linking it to the integumentary system. So you may be a little bit stinky, so that if it doesn't come all out with the bladder, that it can also have other ways to leave the system through. So through sweat, through saliva. Right. Anything else? And bringing in, there's a sensuality aspect here, but to the pelvic basin. We've been so disconnected from the sensual part of living, which is the feminine. So feeling soft fabric on your skin, even if it's men, wearing, that really comfortable cotton shirt, spending time shaving, doing your hair, tending to yourself in a way that's very sensual, even down to now it's bringing up food again. So taking your time with the food that you eat, creating it as a ritual, having a pause before just gulping everything down, having a moment of reflection of gratitude is coming up. Oh, that gratitude piece is really important. And really bringing in sensuality and healthy sexuality in a balancing within the pelvic basin. So that's a feminine masculine balance as well. And then cortices to this whole formula. And this whole kidney, adrenal, bladder formula, sensuality, sexuality, is cortices to that is going to run as well for 48 hours. Okay, so we've got the one piece, 48 hours. No, and we're linking it to a planet. It needs to be satellite. No, it's just we're linking it to a planet. Which planet? We're linking it to Venus. So how beautiful. Venus is the planet of sensuality. It's the feminine, but it's also the dark side. Like you say, the dark side of the moon. Venus also has some shadow aspects, but we're really bringing in that sensual aspect of Venus, uh, which will help in that connection, that connectedness to nature, to food, to your surroundings, to what is beautiful, to how you move. You know, stretching can be sensual, doing your hair, eating, even going for a walk can be sensual, especially for women, the sway of their hips. For men, you can have, you know, a really great workout. It's sensual to build up the muscles. That's the feminine building herself up. You know, I have a really great sweat, a really great workout. So we're linking it to that aspects of Venus. Beautiful. And now I just settled. All right, I'm going to tap this in. A nice deep breath. You can tap for yourself. All right. Thank you so much. That was quite a doozy. You'll see what this does for you over the week. I'd love to hear about your experience with food or your digestion or what you've noticed for yourself. If you missed this, don't fret. You can always catch it on my website at www.mmarzak.com. And you can go ahead and share this video or share the link with anyone who you share it free and share it freely. It's TLC for all. All right, loves. See you all next week. Have a good one.